Hey guys, last week I was showing you this pattern book that I purchased, the spring edition of Gnomes, and today's edition is Hanging with My Gnomies. So I had an opportunity to work on the patterns, and I just wanted to share a few thoughts that I had about the patterns in this book and share with you the ones that I did get to make. But before we go there, first I want to mention one of the things that I did to make my crochet life a little bit easier, especially with this amigurumi, is I went ahead and splurged and bought myself a set of the Clover crochet hooks. It came in a package like this. And there's a distinct difference. I'll show you. The hooks I normally use are the Bella Coco Athena hooks, and I purchased those because of the handle, because it was hurting my hands to grip onto the crochet hooks. But if you look in comparison between the two hooks, the Clover hook is just a little bit more pointy on the end. The tip where the hook part itself is not as blunt and bulky. So these hooks made it so much easier to go through those tight stitches that goes along with doing the amigurumi. Okay, so on to the book. There's a few things that I really appreciate about the book. One of them being the way they show how there's going to be a color change, or what color you're supposed to be using at that time. Not only is it in the written part of the pattern, but it's also on the side where it says like round 1, round 2, round 3. It's color coded there. So that was really nice. There's no guessing. Okay, yes, I'm still on this color. No, I'm supposed to change to this color. So there's no guesswork there. The other thing that I really appreciated about this pattern book is not only do the patterns tell you what to do, in some parts of it, it tells you why you're doing it. For example, when you are working on the body part, and it'll tell you, say, do 12 single crochets. Then it'll tell you do 4 single crochets in the front loop only, and then do 12 single crochets. And then you might wonder to yourself, why am I doing these front loops? Well, because they've taken all the guesswork out of where do I place the arms? Where do I place the nose? Where does this go? Those front loop stitches are where you are going to attach the arms or the beard or the nose or whatever it is that you're attaching to that particular gnome that you're making. So that was nice. So you get this nice, it's nice and symmetrical. So, well, no, it wouldn't be front loop, it would be back loop. So it'll say, like, do 12 single crochets and then do 4 back loop only. That way the front loop is showing when it's time to attach your arms. Now I had 2 people. Caroline, she sent me a Instagram reel showing this person how they were attaching the arms and stuff. And one of the things that they did, especially if it's not like round and you're attaching it round to your project, if it's flat, like you're not stuffing the arm, is they single crocheted the top of that together. And it took a lot of that bulkiness because you don't have the two sides trying to attach the two sides to the body, but it took a lot of that bulkiness out. So thank you, Caroline. That video was very helpful. And then I had another person that commented, it was actually the same day. She had commented about how she had made a cat and she didn't like how the legs and stuff attached, so she redid it and she did crochet it on as she went. Now with these little gnomes, you don't have to worry about that. It's, yeah, this book is really, really nice. Okay, it's show and tell time. My first one, I told you guys that I wanted to make this daffodil. Now mine are made with worsted weight, you know, a 4 yarn and a 4mm hook, where if you follow the instructions exactly, you would be using a 2.5mm hook. And I had to look up the yarn weight because it doesn't say in here. I mean, it tells you what they use, so I looked it up. So it's a 2. So mine are quite a bit bigger, but they're still cute. So here is my daffodil. Now he was my first one, and I did have to do some frogging, but that's okay. As soon as I got used to like the format that they were using with writing their pattern, I didn't have a problem after that. It's just I had a couple of ones I was just like, wait a minute. So I had to pull it out and redo the round. Not a big deal. But he is so stinking cute. And for me, being a beginner, this makes me look like better than a beginner. Not an expert, but better than a beginner. I just think he is like so cute. Now, I want to make him again, and I'm going to cross my fingers. I'm going to try getting some thinner yarn and using the smaller hook to see how much smaller that it would come out. But he's so cute. And the nice thing about these is you're not using those not so safe safety eyes. So if you wanted to give this to a little, no problem. You know, maybe you don't put the buttons on it. But that's the only thing is the buttons. But it doesn't have those not so safe safety eyes. So, daffodil, it's got a beard, so it has to be a boy. Or it could be a female gnome with some serious testosterone issues. So what would we name the daffodil gnome? Can't be Daphne because that would be for a girl. So you guys think about it. Tell me what the daffodil gnome should be named. A boy name. Then I decided I wanted to make the what they call a garden gnome. This little guy right here. But I wanted to try and make him look like a leprechaun. So I did not follow their color scheme. And my leprechaun doesn't look so much like a leprechaun. Looks more like Yosemite Sam. So my leprechaun doesn't look so much like a leprechaun. He looks more like Yosemite Sam. Had I done the hat in green, maybe it would look more like a leprechaun to me. So, I mean, other than he looks like Yosemite Sam, see, we don't have to name him, we'll just call him Sam. I think he turned out okay, considering. I used a rust color yarn to make him have a red mustache, you know, because a lot of Irish are redheads. The only issue I had with this particular pattern is all of them are worked from the top down. So you do the hat first, and you're supposed to lightly stuff it. And then, you're working on through the body, and the hat's supposed to scrunch down. So when you go to stuff the body part, that stuffing's working up into the hat, and it made it not so easy. So my wheels started turning, and I'm like, there needs to be some kind of barrier in between the hat and the body part. So I have a plan. I'm going to redo this one, but not as a leprechaun, not as Yosemite Sam, but as the garden gnome. And I'm going to try to make a barrier in between. So I had two ideas in my head. One is just, to circle around doing decreases on the inside. And the other is to kind of like take a yarn needle and do like a weave across so that the stuffing can't get pushed up into the hat and you get that good scrunch that you need to have. But I mean, other than that, I think he turned out pretty cute. St. Patrick's Day is almost here. So Yosemite Sam is trying to disguise himself as a leprechaun. So we're just going to call him Sam. Then I did a third one. I didn't get to the bunny one yet. I know I said I wanted to do the bunny, but as I started looking through, I'm like, these other ones are so much cuter. Well, maybe not cuter, but I like them better. So I decided to do this striped gnome right here on the cover. Now, I did not, bigger picture. I didn't put the pom-pom on it. And I didn't attach the flowers here because I think it's because I'm using the heavier yarn. It came out quite bulky and big when I made the flower. So right now the flower is just pinned. It's not finalized attached because I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it. But here is this one. And as you can see, using the 4 worsted weight yarn, it is quite large. But here he is, the little pointed hat, or she, since it's pink, but it has a beard. So I don't know, do lady gnomes have beards? Good question, right? So I just have the flower pinned up here. I just have a couple of straight pins stuck in there. But yeah, this one wasn't too bad. There's some top stitching here. And to get it to stand, once you do your bottom part, you go back. You did a back loop and then it left the front loop available. And you do a row of single crochet and that helps it to stand, to keep it balanced. The hat is quite tall. So, but it's cute. And Mr. Stripe here, or Miss Stripe, needs a name as well. So, now I didn't use the exact colors. I didn't have the exact colors, so I used as close as I could. Let me see here. What does it say to use? Okay, so the colors that it says you should use are rose pink, white, light yellow. I had the light yellow and the white. Honey caramel, I didn't have. So this is his little nose. This is warm beige. I didn't have a just plain old blue. So this is aqua. And this is supposed to be lavender, but mine is lilac. All the yarn I used is Premier Basics and the 4mm hook, the Clover hook. It was so much nicer working through. And for some reason, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The metal on the Clover is more like a matte. It's not as shiny. And it just glides right through. I mean, it's so nice. And like I said, the hook is just a little bit less bulbous. You know, it's not blunt. It's got a little bit of a point to it. Now, if somebody could just do the best of both worlds and give me a handle like this on a hook like that, I'd be a happy camper. So, those are my 3 gnomes. The striped gnome, the daffodil gnome, and the garden gnome, which looks like Yosemite Sam because I tried to be funny with the colors. And let's see, is there anything else I can tell you about this book? So, you know, that's what Yosemite Sam should look like if I did it as a garden gnome. So I am going, like I said, I'm going to try to redo that. I'm going to do it like the garden gnome, but I'm going to try and make that barrier between the hat and the body and see if that helps me out with the scrunching of the hat. And then there's the bunny family. This one's cute. This one's a sunny gnome. I like that one, but I would have to more than likely work on my embroidery skills because of the sun here. I'm sure that's, you know, you crochet a circle and then you stitch it on and just like use your yarn needle and make the sun rays. But then this one has those flowers on it. So I'm going to have a thinner yarn to make the flowers because that just came out really big and it wouldn't fit down here on the belly where it's supposed to go. So what do you do? Oh, and then I had another of my probably the most faithful viewer. She let me know that this book is part of a series. And I'm like, now who's the bad influence? So apparently they have a Christmas book and a Halloween book. So I wanted to test it out, see how the patterns worked up before I ordered the other books. But yeah, I think I'm gonna order the other books because these are easy, and it will give me practice. Now, if they just give detailed information on the stuffing part, you know, that's probably something that needs to be done more in person with somebody because, you know, you stuff it firm but not hard. You stuff it firm but soft. Well, firm and soft doesn't really kind of go together. But yet if it's firm and like really stuffed and hard, then it's hard to sew those parts together. So yeah. So I did go a lot lighter with the stuffing on these because I didn't want to battle stitching the few pieces on that you have to stitch on. I mean, and it's not a lot. You make the beard, you sew the nose to the beard, then you attach the beard to those front loops that you left open so that you know exactly where it goes, and it turned out nice. So I'm just going to be here hanging with my gnomies. Okay, so we need a name for the daffodil gnome, the garden gnome that was supposed to be a leprechaun that looks like Yosemite Sam. We'll just call him Sam. And the striped gnome here needs a name. So help me out. Give me suggestions for names in the description down below. And I will have the link to this book and the two others, the Halloween and the Christmas book, in the description down below. And that would be it for today. Other than you clicking on this video right over here and seeing what YouTube and I think you should watch next. And we thank you so much for watching.